of a website using Divi, and we're going to use client's website, Come Live in Florida, to do that. So usually a consistent look is done via, if you want to have a nice picture on all of the pages. So for example, the home page looks kind of like this, where there's big long pictures, uh, text. This is the areas, and then a contact form. So if we look at the contact page, it looks very consistent with just the contact information, but it's the large picture and the footer down here as well. So that's kind of what makes it look really consistent. And to duplicate this through the website without losing your information in Divi can be just a little tricky. So I'm going to pull that over here, open a new one, and then drag that over. So I use this program. You can use Notepad in Windows. This is just so that you can copy code and put it on here. Not that you will need it, but you always just do it for just in case. So I'm going to throw this on the other screen, and I'll pull it back when we're at that point. So for real estate, the search page tends to be just whatever solution that the agent is using. So for example, the solution that she is using in this is Showcase IDX, and this is their solution on the search page. So there technically isn't really a consistent look. It's just more of here's the solution, and we go from there. So the buyer's page, again, has this really nice big layout, and then everything else is underneath. Fairly easily done. And so let's look at the seller's page and see if this is consistent with that as well. The hardest thing that you're going to have is finding this large picture. So again, this is a consistent look. I think the site becomes inconsistent. For example, when you click on Boca Raton or any of the city's information, then the site becomes inconsistent. So how do we fix this issue? First thing we do is we go to Edit Page. And then Rank Math loads on top of Divi, meaning just above it. And then here is the content of the website. So I tend to want to grab all of this information just in case. Now, all I'm going to do, so here's how it looks visually, which is just the content. And then I'm going to click on text and then hit Control A and then Control C on the keyboard, or you could just right click and hit Select All and then copy, either way, but I'd like to use a keyboard, Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to paste that into here. And this is for just in cases. Just in case you click the wrong thing or make the wrong mistake, all of the code is here, and then it's not going to be missable. Okay, so the next thing to do would be to click the plus sign and load from library. Now what you're going to do is choose an existing page, and we saw that the buyer's page, the seller's page, they all looked great. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to find the buyer's information page, which is right here. Before I click on that, however, the first thing I'm going to do is click uncheck replace content. I want the layout. I don't want all of my content to be destroyed. If you are creating a new page from scratch, then replace the existing content and choosing buyer page is a great idea, because then it will load out the same exact layout, and then you just go through replacing the stuff that's there. So I'm not going to check that. I'm going to click buyer's information, and I just noticed that there are two buyer's page, so this actually might be the wrong one, but so far it looks like the right one. So now on the Boca Raton page, when I hit update, it has all of this content, but it's all of the buyer's content, which is okay, but we need to make it so it's more of a Boca Raton. So saving, and now I'm going to right click just so that you can see what it looks like live. And just to confirm that I copied the right page. Okay, so here's the Boca Raton information up top with all of the listing information, and then down below will be the buyer's information section, So here's the buyer's information. So the only thing we need to do at this moment is to start moving things around. And you can do this in Divi or outside of Divi, but what we're really looking for is just this large header. We're looking for that large header. The content will fit right here. We can actually delete this page and show listing information. So again, we're just trying to make it look consistent with the rest of the website. So I am going to hit edit. Actually, I'm going to edit in the back end just to move things around. So I know that these two and this whole entire section is the old content of the website. So what we can do is that if we look back and forth between the live website and the back end, we can just move things around. And yes, you can do this on the front end. I just find it's easier to move blocks rather than whole sections of content. It's just kind of easier for me. So the purchase process. So remember that this is purple because it's a full stretched and it says hero. So here's the hero section. There's the title and there are the buttons. So we're looking through this. Okay, so here are the context in the text area. So what I want to do then is I want to grab this entire section and then drag it to where the text area is. So there's the row and all of the text. And then now I can, if I choose to, I can just delete everything below. So now that that is done, and we hit update on the page, and then when we refresh the page, all of the buyer's content is now where it should be at the very, very top. And so what we're going to do is change this to a different picture and put Boca Raton on there, and then we'll go from there. So here's the content, and in this moment you can tend to choose to lay the content out differently. So previously we had this purchase process of buying. So I'm going to close this, and now I'm going to start editing inside on the front end. So I'm going to enable the visual editor now that I have the content close to where I want it to be. Again, it's not perfect, which is fine. As this loads, we had this section up here which doesn't exist, it's just blank. So now we're going to kill it and everything's going to move up, which is great. Then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this to Boca Raton. We can actually kind of leave that there if we want. If that works. If we want to change the picture, just click on the gear icon. Actually, I'm sorry, that is in the gray. So go down and choose background, and then here you can change the image to whatever you want. So in this image you want to make fairly large. So 1280 by 720 is actually pretty good. I know it says Mar-a-Lago, and that's I'm just looking for a nice, good image. So here's a pretty good image, so we're just going to use that for now. So I'm going to hit upload image, and then now the image changes, which is great. I'm going to not use this image because I didn't see the words on front. So I'm going to go back and then find a fairly good image, and the golf course is actually pretty. Actually, I'll use this one even though it's Mar-a-Lago, and then hit update image. So that looks good. I'm looking in the back, it looks kind of grainy. I'm gonna go back and trying to find a clearer looking picture. Okay, this one looks good. That's good enough for now. But that picture could be changed at any time by clicking on this. Okay, and then we have helping hundreds of buyers find their dream home. Great. So this section right here can instantly be deleted since we have all of the content here. So we're just going to delete this section, and then you could choose if you want to keep that little line. It's just up to you. It's this styling line. You can mouse over and hold and then increase the space a little bit. All right. The other thing that I would suggest is that down here, after all the listings, there's this section, and I kind of like the way that this is laid out. So what we can do is we can click here, hold, and drag it up to the top. And place it right here. So then now you have this kind of cool section. So this would be where I would go here, into the module, and I would highlight until, let's say we see, I'm just trying to balance this out a little bit, living. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to increase the size of this. This box, I have a hard time increasing the size. Let me go visual. It should increase the size, and then go text. It doesn't, but you can kind of highlight either way. So if you grab all of this and go all the way down to living, which is I think what we wanted, and we can hit right, and then hit copy. I'm not destroying anything, I'm just keeping things there so that I can play with this lookout. So now I'm going to highlight this information, hit Control V, and paste in this information. Okay, so then now we have some of the information right here. It does look funny, so let's change the width of this row. So we click on the gear, click on design, click on spacing, sizing, I always mix that up, and then change this maxed width to 95%. And I tend to always use percentages because it's a little bit easy to control them, and I line them up in the center. So when I'm looking at the rest of the site, a lot of the items are full width items. So the pictures are full width. We're going from edge to edge with either colors or images. So going 95 to 90% would be a great idea. So now that we've had everything since Upscale Living, which is right here, I'm going to click on this thing again, go to Upscale Living, highlight the rest of it, hit copy, and then now on the other side here, I'm going to, if you click, you could just start editing, but it's really hard. I'm going to click on the gear here. Again, hit Control A, delete on the keyboard, Control V, and then you have this nice kind of magazine layout to where you read down here and then you go up to the top. And I'm trying to, again, make sure that the layout is somewhat consistent. So this image here, what I'm going to do is click on it, and then I'm going to go to the image and align it left. So then it looks, so the words start wrapping around it. You can hold down Shift on the keyboard and shrink it just a little bit to make it look a little bit better, and there isn't any padding on it. So I am going to go in and go through the code. Here is the picture, style float left, and then just do padding colon 10 pixels. Okay, and then what that does is that you see this space around here, which is exactly what I want. I want space. I don't want the words to hit it at all. Okay, and then so we have that. And since I want the words to be as closely together as possible, then this section right here I'm going to delete and just use it underneath. So go over here, and then you have this Boca Raton coastline. I'm going to highlight that in the image and delete it, and then hit OK, and then see where that kind of lays out. That's pretty close. So then if I want to shrink, just click and hold, and you can get rid of the white space. And then now all I'm going to do is restaurants and more. I can highlight all of this information here and then hit delete. And then we have this layout. So since there is an image here, what we would normally do is click on the plus sign, go to image, and then add that same image, which is this one. Add that image directly as its own item. At least I think it's the same. It is a different image. Or the other thing to do would be to click on the image. Oh, it's two images together. That's why. Click on the image and then choose center to move it. And then the same thing with this one, center to move it. This is kind of a horrible way to do that. So the best thing that I would do at this moment is I will go in. First thing, I will add another row. So I'm just going to duplicate this row, and it will add it directly underneath. Let's try that again. Duplicate the row. Where is it adding it? Oh, it's adding it way down here. So now that I've added it 3 times, I'll just move one of them up and to delete them later. So, all right, so I've duplicated this row, and then now I'm moving it up to where it was. This is a lot better to do this without the listings on, because the listings just adds a whole bunch of information that's not needed while you're editing. So now that we've added this row, what I'm going to do with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this column structure into 2 lines. Okay, and then this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an image. And then on this side, I am going to add an image. I lost the image. Add the image. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find those images, which I already found one, so they're not that difficult. So here's one image, which takes care of this one, and then I'm going to try and find that other one, which it has that house. So again, here it is, looking really quickly. All right, so then I have that image and that image, which is great. This is an issue here, so I'm going to move this into its own section right there. Now that will be full width of the listing information. I'm actually going to edit it real quick. Okay. Well, I didn't take it out. I have to do that in the code, not on the thing. Computer's acting really slow all of a sudden. Great. Quit. Geez, I don't know what is going on. Okay, so now that that's gone, sorry, that took way too long. Apparently it still didn't work because it's a shortcode. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to edit this information, copy the wording only, and then we can delete this whole entire item. So we can delete that, and then the other picture will just magically show up. So then that looks a little more consistent and a little more nicer. Now we need to add a row of text and just place that text in there and then move it up top. So place the text in, highlight and paste. There's that information that was there. And now we're going to drag this whole thing on top of that whole thing, and there. Okay, now this looks a lot better and more consistent with the rest of the website now that we have the Boca Raton. And again, we can change that photo whenever we want. Here are the text. It's laid out nicely. This information, if you want to match it we would click on this and then go back to design, go to sizing, 100% up here, and I think I did 95% down here, and then now it's the same exact width as it was before. Same thing here. I would just keep that there. If you want to make it the same width, that's fine. Here is the listing information. Let's go in and change this, because apparently that does not work on shortcodes. Okay. Okay, so all of that, all the listing information is done, and again, click on the gear, design, spacing, 100%, and then 95%. And one of the things that people don't know with particularly Showcase IDX is that it will automatically shift to a grid format based on the amount of screen size there is. It's just something to be aware of, that you can't get the list format all of the time. So then the listings are in there, the header is in there, all of the content on the page is in there. So then just scroll down past the listings and just start deleting stuff. So here is this information, and then you can click the delete module because it's already deleted. This is already in there, so you can delete that. Oh, here's the duplicate one, so you can actually just delete this whole entire row. Oh, I did it again. This was how many times that I did it. Become a Floridian. You can keep that there if you want. I am just going to delete it for now. There's all of this spacing. This section right here, you can keep that. Again, you're duplicating a page. So we're just going to kill all of this section. We're going to kill this section. We're going to kill that section and then leave it like this, and then hit save and update. And then that's how you get a consistent look and feel throughout the entire website, and using Showcase IDX and everything and so forth and so on. If there is an issue with font, so like this font is different than this font, this means that the font was copied and pasted off of something else, or or someone went in and styled this particular widget. So I'm looking at it. Everything is a P. So then now I'm going to design, going to text, and going default regular text size 15. I go over here and match the design to text, default regular, and up to 15, and that will make the font consistent. If you want to keep that font the same throughout the entire website, so I just saved the page, the Boca Raton page is done, and just move on to the next major city page. To keep the font consistent throughout would be to, one, do not copy any word, anything from Word or anywhere else on the web and post it. It'll copy the styling. And then on this, just when you're logged in, go to Theme Customizer. Then go to General Settings, Typography, and then Text Size, and then raise that to 15 like it was. And this is site-wide. It'll raise it throughout everything. Same thing. If you change the font, it'll be site-wide. All of these changes are site-wide. Hit Publish, and then that is how you make all your pages consistent.